Hey everyone, it's Nate from Echo City Music Lab. Today I'm doing a piano tutorial for Come Through by Jeremy Zucker. I had never heard this song until last night. Someone requested it. The chords themselves are really interesting. The rhythm's a little tricky, but it's mostly the same thing over and over again for the whole song, so it shouldn't be too hard to learn. Let's do it. So we'll start with that main chord progression, and this is going to be used for the verses, the choruses, and that sort of post-chorus hook. The only thing that's going to be different is the pre-chorus and the outro. I recommend getting the chords and lyric chart. There's a link down in the description. That way you can follow along with where the chords line up with the lyrics as you sing them. So here's the chord progression. I'll teach these with both hands together. So first chord is a C major 7. It's going to look like this. The left hand's going to be doing a C, a G, and then the right hand's going to be doing a B, an E, and a G. Next up is an A minor 7, and we're going to keep our left hand thumb on that G and move the pinky down to A. So we've got A and G there. And then in the right hand, we're just going to do sort of a regular root position A minor chord. So it's going to look like that. So A, G in the left hand, A, C, E in the right. And the last two chords are a little more straightforward. We're going to take that same shape we were just doing with the A minor here and just move it down to F for the F chord. So F, A, C. And the left hand's just going to do that same thing but without the middle note. We don't want it to get too muddy sounding. So just F and C. And then for the G, we're just going to step that whole thing up. Same exact shape. So G, D, G, B, D. So we're going to do the fancier rhythm in a second, but this cover will totally sound great. Just playing and holding out the chords is a little easier to play and sing that way. So it'd be like, I might lose my mind, waking when the sun's down, riding all these highs, waiting for the come down. And again, that's going to be the same thing for the chorus. Now I'm shaking, drinking all this coffee. These last few weeks have been and also for the can you come through, through. I'm singing those parts down an octave lower because my voice does not sound good up high like he does on the recording. So let's add the rhythm. We're going to kind of break the chord apart and do one note at a time in the left hand and then add the right hand afterwards. And to get the rhythm right, we have to think in eighth notes. So we're doing 4/4 time. So there's 4 counts in every measure, but there's also the space in between the counts 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And the rhythm works like this. 1 and 2 and 3. 4. I'm just going to loop it on this chord. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. You might want to slow it down. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. But once you get the hang of it, you can just apply it to the whole progression. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 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 I might lose my mind, waking when the sun's down, riding all these highs, waiting for the come down. It's definitely a little tricky to sing and play at the same time. If you have any difficulty, I suggest drilling that rhythm until it's like riding a bike, till you're using really your muscle memory rather than your counting. But if it's still throwing you off, just hold out the chords and it'll still sound really good. Final detail that you can throw in if you want is on the G, after there's this little, on the recording it's played on the guitar, it's a little like hammer on like ba-do-do. But basically you're just doing a fast B, C, B right after the count of 3 with a final left hand G before moving back up to the C. I'm not going to throw that in every time, maybe just a little bit on the chorus and the hook. Let's look at the pre-chorus because this part's a little bit different. It uses mostly the same chords though. It starts out with that A minor 7, the same way we've been doing it. Then it goes to a G, also the same way we've been doing it. And then it goes to an F major 7. Now the only difference here is going to be instead of doing F, A, C in the right hand, we're going to do A, C, E in the right hand instead. I'm trying to realize. Notice the right hand does the A minor. then down to G, and then for the F it goes back to that A minor, and when it loops around you can just keep it where it is for the second time. And then the second time through those 3 chords it goes to G, just like we've been doing it before, but then we've got a G7, and to voice that we're just going to drop our right hand thumb down to F. So it's going to be G, D, F, B, D. And that's for that part that's kind of building into the chorus and you're just pulsing eighth notes on your own. So I guess you cut off on the final beat of that measure before you hit in with the chorus. Now the pre-chorus has the trickiest rhythm that happens in the song. It's still left hand bottom note, left hand top note, then add the right hand chord, but the pacing's a bit faster. The first 2 chords are going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But the tricky part is we're going to go to the F an eighth note earlier than you might think. We're going to anticipate the next measure by an eighth note. So it's going to sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. Again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. And I'll say it one more time. If that rhythm's a little too tricky for you, just keep it to holding out the chords. I'm trying to realize it's alright to not be fine on your own. Now I'm shaking, drinking all this coffee. So now we're in the chorus. We've now learned everything except for the outro. And after I show you the outro, I'm going to play through the whole thing so you can see how all these parts fit together. And the outro is basically just another one of those hook sections. The can you come through, ooh, ooh, ooh. But the chords are a bit embellished and the rhythm you play it with is a little different. The first half of the outro sounds like this and you get a little bit quieter for it. Can you come through? So you gently block out the chords with both hands together, and for each of the chords, they're going to hit on 1, 2, and. So just 2 hits, and for each of the chords, there's going to be a slight variation between what hits on the 1 and then what hits on the and after 2. So for the C major 7, you hit it just like we've been doing. So 1, 2, and then on the and, you just raise the thumb up to basically just make it a regular C major chord, C, E, G. So 1, 2, and 3, 4. For the A minor 7, the right hand's going to do the exact same thing you just did. Again, but we're going to stretch out to these left hand sevenths we were doing before. So it's going to be 1, 2, and 3, 4. So far we've got 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Now we've got this really unusual and cool sounding F11 chord. And the left hand's just going to go down to the F fifths we've been doing all along. And the right hand's just going to play an octave on a B. It's really nice sounding. If that's too much of a stretch, you could just do the top note. And then on the second hit, so that's 1, 2, and 3, 4. So on that and, you're going to switch to C and E. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Finally, we've got a G sus4 to a G. So the G sus4 is just G, C, and D, and it resolves down to the regular G major we were doing. So one more time for that first half of the outro, it's 1, 2, and 3, 4. 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 And then the second half of the outro sounds like this. Through, yeah, yeah, and there's one thing that I need from you. Can you come through? And then the song's over. So for the first 4 chords of that, the C, the G over B, the A minor, and G, you're going to play on every single eighth note. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. And it's going to look like this. Simple C chord, so no C7, just C, E, G in the right hand. And we're going to do 1, and 2, and. So left hand notes 1 at a time, then chord, and then back to the top left hand note. 1, and 2, and. Now we're going to keep doing that rhythmic pattern, but we're going to go to this G over B chord. So B, G in the left hand, and then B, D, G in the right hand. 3, and 4, and. So far it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So 2 more chords with that rhythm, and it's just a simple A minor and a G major. So for that A minor, we're going to do the left hand fifths instead of those sevenths we had been doing earlier. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then for those last couple chords, you just hold them out. So one more time, the whole outro all together. Can you come through? From you, can you come through? All right, thanks for sticking with me. You now know all the different parts for this song, so I'm going to put them together in a complete cover. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and just smash that subscribe button. I put out these videos pretty often, so if you turn on the notifications, you'll know whenever I release one. Give it a thumbs up, and if there's a song you want to hear, leave a request. I don't get to all of them, but I do get to some. This one was a request, like I said. Anyway, here's my version of Come Through. I might lose my mind, waking when the sun's down, riding all these highs, waiting for the come down. Walk these streets with me, I'm doing decently, just glad that I can breathe. I'm trying to realize it's alright to not be fine on your own. Now I'm shaking, drinking all this coffee. These last few weeks have been exhausting. I'm lost in my imagination, and there's one thing that I need from you. Can you come through? Yeah. And there's one thing that I need from you. Can you come through? Ain't got much to do, too old for my hometown. Went to bed at noon, couldn't put my phone down. Scrolling patiently, it's all the same to me, just faces on the screen. Yeah, I'm trying to realize it's alright to not be fine on your own. Now I'm shaking, drinking all this coffee. These last few weeks have been exhausting. I'm lost in my imagination, and there's one thing that I need from you. Can you come through? Yeah. And there's one thing that I need from you. Can you come through? One thing that I need from you. Can you come through?